the heritage of the barbershop is kind of like um, just do a good job, you know? Like, I think in the podcast, there was this one episode we were saying, like, in 1950, you just did a good job because that was your job. You just went to work and you did it the best you could, or whatever, or so it seemed. I'm not from that era, but um, it was like, yeah, like, let's just offer something that uses organic oils, has no preservative, doesn't use fragrance oils, just uses essential oils, and let's just offer it at the same price as like a beard oil that has alcohol in it, for example, or whatever, something like that.
Hi, everyone. Today on the show, we've got someone who's as comfortable behind a barber's chair as he is behind a book. My guest today is Domenic Papas. Domenic is the host of Shop Talk, the Instagram podcast that captures those off the cuff, anything goes conversations we all love having with our barbers. He's also the founder of CCHI Essentials, which is a line of organic grooming and wellness products. And it's inspired by his grandfather, and it's also sold right out of the family barber shop that has been going strong since 1966. But that's not all. Domenic is also a self published author, and his debut novella, Garbage Day, combines mafia drama, climate change, and satire in a way you've never seen before. And of course, we're going to talk about his book and as his podcast sort of says that we talk about lots of different things. So I'm looking forward to this conversation. Thank you for joining me today, Domenic.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Okay, so Richmond Barbers. I mean, I think we have to start this conversation with Richmond Barbers because of the fact that it's been a part of your family since 1966, which is like a long, long time. So I wanted to ask you, what's the biggest challenge that you've seen that this barber shop has overcome over the years?
Easily the biggest challenge, probably for any barbershop, is hiring and maintaining good barbers. Unfortunately, we literally just had to let one go because we were like, take your time. We at the end of every haircut, we have little massage guns, and we just do like a back massage for like 30 minutes. And he wasn't doing it, and like he was speeding through the haircut, and we're like, it's not like it is in a mall. It is in a mall, so it is kind of in and out. But like we're like heritage, So the hardest thing is like finding more of those types of barbers that are like really determined to give them a good experience and also are good at cutting hair because not a lot of barbers are great at cutting hair, or like some barbers are only good with certain types of hair, and people are finicky. So that's been a big challenge, and we've like it's something we've talked about like weekly for 10 years.
Oh, wow. I think
Yeah.
it's, yeah, because I understand that hair is such a personal thing for individuals, whether it's men or it's women. And, like they say, if your hair doesn't look good, you don't feel good. It gives you a sense of confidence if your hair is looking good. So and the experience also is so important, and the fact that it's heritage, and since 1966, clearly people would come back again and again for the experience, and then the add-on experience that you mentioned, about like a back massage, I think is so it's so important for people to leave a salon feeling relaxed, confident, and and ready to face the rest of the day or evening or whatever it may be. So no, I completely understand that. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's an art, and it's important to be. It's important to, your craft is one thing, but it's the personalization of the craft, I think, is also very, very important. So I completely get that. Okay, so let's talk about shop talk. And how did that start? That's one. And why did you start it? Did you hope it would solve, um, I mean, what kind of problems did you think it was going to solve for your audience or for the community around you?
So originally, when I had started CCHI Essentials, your first thought is, okay, gotta do social media, gotta make content and this and that. And for some reason, I just was like focused all my time on making content. Like if I put content on Instagram, it's gonna give me sales. And like 2 months after I was making videos and this and that, I was like, I haven't focused on sales at all. And I have actually done nothing except like make videos. So I I used it as a way to get a lot of content in one period of time as opposed to like having to go here to make a video and having to go there to make a video. And also there is a show on HBO. It's older. It's called The Shop, but it's like LeBron James has a barber. He rents a barber shop and he invites like other famous athletes or other people like that. And it's a podcast. They just sit on barber chairs and they all get haircuts. And I always loved that show. And I always knew like there was only 2 seasons of it or something. Like if there was 20 seasons of that, I'd watch every single episode. So I was like, hey, I want to do this because I just think it's cool. I like the idea. Um, we've recently renovated our barbershop, so the space looks really good. It's really aesthetic for it. And it's also just like kind of interesting to have an open conversation on camera because I find that like I speak differently on camera. Like I am way more proper, like in terms of my delivery. Like usually I'm all over the place and whatever. So I'm trying to just like dial it in and focus on the other person as opposed to like, Greeks and Italians, we're always going on tangents here and there. Like we'll be talking about a barber shop and then next thing you know, I'm talking about a watermelon that was at the grocery store across the street. It's just like so it was a good way to like uh practice my skills, but also like focus on other people because there's a lot of people in Vancouver that are doing stuff. Um, and I'm not really one to ask personal questions one on one with people. So it's funny. It's like when I'm hanging out with someone, I'll just be like, oh, yeah, man, you see this movie? Oh, dude, walking down the sidewalk. Oh, that fried chicken place is amazing. But then I get in front of this certain people on camera that I know, and I'm like, so like, tell me about your life. And I won't even know their answers sometimes. Like, I didn't even know that. I've known you for 15 years. I didn't even know that about your sister or something.
Yeah, sometimes people tend to, like you're saying that it brings more focus to you because then you are you're aware of the fact that it's not it's you're in front of the camera and you've got someone whom you're talking to whom you may have known for a long time, but I understand that people, I feel like when I talk to people, and I talk to people from all walks of life and different cultures from all over the world. And I think there are times when it's the comfort of the person that the guest is talking to. And if you're able to draw that, then it's amazing how, I mean, there's so many guests who said to me that they didn't even think of what they just shared. It didn't even occur to them, and they probably had it somewhere in the back of their mind, or and it just flows. So I think
Hmm.
I think that's a great way of getting people to open up. And so it's quite interesting. And I think it connects with the fact that, we all know in salons and barber shops and spas how people tend to, if you're very close to, or you're,
Gossip.
yeah, gossip. I didn't want to, I was trying to use another phrase, but yeah,
I call it like I
gossip.
see it.
Okay, so when did you start sorry, say that again. What essentials?
Quilici.
Quilici Essentials.
Yeah, yeah.
When
Sorry.
did you start
And
that?
nobody can pronounce it. That was the first thing. I was like, oh my God, it's about my grandfather. It's his barbershop. It's about a bar, everything about it. And then the first person that read it was like, Quilici. And I was like, I just like that, the way that the C's flow in Italian was like, that's how I've always said it. So I'm like, oh my God, other people don't know what that means. I'm
Yeah.
so stupid.
No, but no, I think if you're Italian, and obviously I mean, like, yeah, no, it's fine. Sorry, I did ask you before the start of the
That's fine.
conversation, and it just slipped. So anyway, so when you one is when did you start it, and the second is what was the main gap that you found in the grooming and wellness market that you thought by introducing your products, you would make a difference?
So for number one, why I started it, it was around the time of COVID. My brother and I had always talked about selling products in the barber shop. But when it came to like buying them and having them shipped, there wasn't really much profit margin. It was kind of like there was no point. Um, and so like I'd always just kind of experimented with essential oils here and there, and like I always liked diffusing them because they just smell really good. So I started mainly because during COVID, nobody had anything to do. So I had all these materials and I just started like rubbing oil on my skin. Oh, that one smells weird. That one smells good. And just throughout the course of it, I was like, I'm going to use COVID to build a product that we can sell at our barbershop. And sorry, what was number two? Forgot.
How, what was the gap
Oh, the
that you
gap, right.
found? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So the gap for me was like I was looking at all these different pomades and beard oils, and they contain like alcohol. They were like 60% water, which contains an emulsifier that has to be preserved. And then, like, at the very end of the ingredient list, it's like, beeswax and like maybe essential oil, but usually it's like a fragrance, which is like carcinogenic. So I was like, okay, let's make it like clean as possible. So I just went like 100% oil based because then you don't need a preservative.
yeah,
And the shelf life of oil is like, we're digging it out of the ground how many million years later, like it's still there.
yeah,
So for me, it was like the heritage of the barbershop is kind of like um just do a good job, you know? Like I think in the podcast there was this one episode we were saying like in 1950, you just did a good job because that was your job. You just went to work and you did it the best you could or whatever, or so it seemed. I'm not from that era, but um, it was like, yeah, like let's just offer something that uses organic oils, has no preservatives, doesn't use fragrance oils, just uses essential oils, and let's just offer it at the same price as like a beard oil that has alcohol in it, for example, or whatever, something like that. So for me, it's more like I wanted to sort of bring the bar down of like you might be at a store, okay? And let's say for example, you're buying shampoo and one of them's $50 and it's like natural this, natural that. That's the one realistically you should be using. But then you don't have $50, you have $10 and you have this one and it's like, probably Garnier, Fructo, whatever, that green bottle. And it's just like chemicals this, chemicals that. Most people are going to buy the $10 bottle. So
right.
I just was like, I don't want people to have to choose. It's like, oh, this one's carcinogenic, but like I can't afford not carcinogenic. So I'm gonna go with the carcinogenic. And like our my generation at least, like more of a global thing now. People are becoming more aware of what's in their products. But um, I just wanted to be like, it's so messed up that we have to make that distinction. You know, you're buying spinach and it's like, this one's not organic. It's covered in pesticides. It's still good for you. It's still spinach. But you know, this one, if you work a little harder, you can get the one without pesticides and you might live a little longer. It's like they're putting an ult every time we buy a product, it's like an ultimatum of our life. So
Yeah. Yeah.
at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, no, no, that's true. So you're actually pricing your products, although it's, I imagine it's more expensive to produce those because obviously the material is more expensive. But you're pricing your products the same as regular products, right?
The way that we're able to do it is like everything's made small batch by hand, which is like manufacturing costs would have like doubled everything, which is what I assume is why all that takes so much money. So, I mean, for now, we're just local. The plan was never to go global or anything. It was like, you know, a COVID business for our barbershop. Luckily, we got in a few other barbershops, but for now, it works.
So it's just in your area mainly.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. No, but I think it's a start because, at least I know the idea was sort of conceived during COVID, but the fact that you became aware of it and the fact that you wanted to give back, and which is why you kept the pricing the same, but, the quality is absolutely top notch. I
Hmm.
think it is a start. And I think that's the first step. And then who knows? If I talk to you 5 years from now, you probably, if not global, you'd probably be in at least some other parts of the world as well. So, so which is good. Let's talk about writing. So, how did that come about? Was this also during COVID, or you've had a passion for writing earlier, and because Garbage Day, it kind of mashes up mafia drama. You've brought in climate change. So, what were the problems in the real world that actually inspired you to write this book? Or was it an absolutely different reason that encouraged and inspired you? I'm curious.
No, there was a physical thing that happened and then the reaction. I don't think I could have just come up with this on my own. There was one day I was going to acupuncture and I like made a turn down a side street. Like I never go this way. For some reason I went this way on this one day and there was a garbage truck. It was blocking the road. It's a two-lane road, but you can park on the side, so it's pretty much one lane. Garbage truck is smack in the middle. There's cars that way, there's 30 cars this way, and the garbage truck is refusing to move. And because I had just pulled in, I was the last car before the intersection. So I got out and I was like, "Hey man, like can I help you? Can I do anything? Like let's just go because I need acupuncture." And he was adamant on like not moving. And so um there was a lot of jarring back and forth. And it got pretty heated at one point. Both of the guys got out and they were like, get the hell out of my face, get the hell out of my face, and blah blah blah. And I was confused because I was like, I'm not in your face, I'm actually on the street. And so I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'll just reverse onto Main Street because apparently that's a better idea than you driving away. And when I was driving away, they were just yelling at me. But it was mania. It was like people had gotten out of their cars. They were like, one was cheering for me. Another girl down the street was like, "Yeah, he's an ass." And then there was another guy who was like this. There's this guy, I can't remember his name, but he's like this homeless guy on Commercial Drive, and he sings. think his name's Francesco, and he makes these really good bird impressions. But out of nowhere, he came up and just started yelling at me, and he just like joined the garbage truck's side, whatever, and he like wasn't even saying anything. So I was like, I started to kind of like zoom out, and I was like, I'm gonna end up on TikTok or something as like the guy that got run over by a garbage truck. So I just got out of there, and it was like kind of sketchy because we all 30 cars were reversing onto a main road.
Oh my God.
And yeah, so I just like I was so mad. I would even went to acupuncture. I was like, I couldn't calm down. And I talked to my friends and I was like, dude, these guys, they just don't care. Like everyone I talked to was like, yeah, like every time I'm behind a garbage truck, it's like slow, it's loud, it's obnoxious, it stinks, and blah blah blah. One of my friends was a garbage like worker or whatever. He like picked up garbage for a summer and he was like trying to play the human piece. And I was like, no, I'm not saying like they're bad people. I'm just saying like, why are they always at the root of commotion and this and that? And and then we started talking about it, and he started talking about a guy that he worked with who was like he was like kind of sketchy, and he was like, "Yo, you're lucky you didn't run into that guy because that guy would have knocked you out and blah blah." And I was like, honestly, I almost got knocked out. Like I wouldn't even doubt it was the same guy. And so we start talking, and I was like, realistically, like if all the garbage trucks just came together and were like, screw everyone, like they could just run us all over. There was a kind of a tangent here, but there was a guy somewhere in like Midwest America, and he welded himself shut into like a steamroller, and he just went around town. He like ran over the library. He was running through houses. He like went into City Hall, caused like $100 million in damage, and they couldn't stop him, and they couldn't
And
get him out because he was like barricaded in. And so my
and
idea
why
eventually
why
evolved.
why did he do that?
There was like a permit or something about his land. They wouldn't let him do
Oh,
something, and he wanted to like
oh,
build a
so this
shed.
was his way
It was
of
the loss. It was a straw that broke the camel's back. It wasn't about that. It was something else. But
okay, okay.
um, yeah. So then the idea just became like me talking to my friends and saying like, "Damn, we would get destroyed if I fought 50 garbage trucks." And then it was like the movie 300. Have you ever seen the movie 300?
Yeah.
So like picture that in present day, but the Spartan army is garbage trucks, and the big army is like every single other person in that city. And that was kind of the incubator idea for the book.
And how long did it take you to write the book? Because you had to create different characters, right? And
Hmm.
and you brought, I haven't read the book, but I understand that you've brought in climate change as well into the book. So what prompted you in order to do to do that? And again, how long did it take for you to write the book? And you decided to self-publish.
Hmm. So I think it took maybe like a year and a half or so. For the first little bit, it was kind of like I'm just gonna start writing it. The reason I started writing was I just always write down ideas in my notes or whatever, like a short story about like a random character that I saw walking down the street, and I was like, I bet you like this is where he comes from. So it kind of started like that. And then when I actually started like going to a coffee shop, drinking like a coffee or a matcha and getting like that caffeine in me, I was like, wait a minute. The mafia always owns sanitations. So now not only are they garbage truck drivers, but they got the mafia on their side. And like coming from a Greek and Italian background, like people growing up always thought my dad was in the mafia just because he was like a big guy and wore a leather jacket. And like now that I look back, I'm like, yeah, he kind of does. But um, like we would go through the border and we get pulled over every time, car search for no reason. And it's like people just thought he was in the mafia. And like my godfather, same type of deal. It's like a big, loud Greek guy, smokes cigars. And so I've just, and I always liked mafia movies. So I really had fun like developing a trio of mafia members that was like um, that all kind of played off each other, like De Niro and Pesci and whatever. But like the young one that wants to come up is vegan, and like they can't even understand that he doesn't want to eat meatballs, and like that's just one thing that I really just had fun with because I've kind of seen it in my family,
Yeah.
and yeah, so um, it was just something that was really fun to do, and it wasn't until I started dating my partner. This was a while ago, like just past COVID, and I had met her parents, and I was just going on talking whatever, and I was like, I don't know if they like me. And when they found out that I was writing a book, they were like, "Oh, Dominic's writing a book? Oh, wow, that is crazy." And so when I got home, I was like, I need to finish that
That
book.
book, correct. Yeah. And how is it doing? Is it available on Amazon?
Yeah, it's available on Amazon and basically online on all book platforms. And I'm gonna try and get the audiobook out there. But self-publishing, it was definitely an interesting route. I just wanted to self-publish because at the time I didn't like think of myself as a writer. And what I learned through like watching writers is like, hey, if you write every day, you're a writer, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of people like don't have formal education or English lit or whatever. They just were writing and they were good at it. So through that, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I am a writer. And then as I wrote more and more every day, I'd come up with a new idea here, a new idea there. And now I basically have like two more books lined up just from like sitting down and being like, oh, like I can do this. And then I kind of just,
Are they going to be sequels or they are completely different in terms of
yeah.
the concept?
So one is a sequel.
Okay.
Another one is something that I wrote during COVID that was like intended to be a screenplay. And it was just like COVID was a weird time. We were locked up. We thought everyone was trying to take our rights and like conspiracy theory here, conspiracy theory there. And then I kind of was just like, this would be an interesting one.
Let's talk a little bit about, because you are on my show now, boarding. So let's talk about climate, sustainability, and because you do talk about climate advocacy. So, what's one challenge that people think has no solution, but in your opinion, it does?
Yeah, there, this is a tough one because like I don't want to sound intense, but like I think they do have a lot of solutions for things that aren't commercially efficient, profitable, whatever word you want to use, where it's not worth their time. Um, I'll give two examples,
Okay.
and I haven't necessarily researched these in depth. I've just seen them. One of them was there's a lady in Africa, and she is repurposing plastic into these like really compact bricks. And they're like building structures, they're building roadways, they're just building things with all the plastic waste. And in Africa, apparently, like all their liquids are from plastic bottles, so they have a lot of plastic waste. And there was another one. This was just like a dude I saw on TikTok. His name's Julian, and he takes plastic and he refines it into gasoline. And I think it's because like when we actually recycle plastic, there is oil used in that respect. So I don't know. He's like figured out a process to actually get the oil out, and he has this rig in his backyard, and like he'll make it. He'll put it into a car. Car starts up, drives the car. He's got like miles per gallon on this, and like I said, I haven't like fully researched it, so I don't know like to the extent if it is being backed or what. But I'm seeing like solutions for things, but then I'm seeing like, oh, climate change is getting worse, more waste. more this, more that. So I I kind of am a firm believer on like, there's something in the air where it's like they don't necessarily want to fix every problem. And it's kind of up to like the blue collar to be like, hey, this is something that we have. If we all come together, maybe we can make a change. Um, yeah, just I don't know the word for it, but like I always say, I know a couple people that are really political and they'll go to protests and this and that. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, you want to change the way things are. That's completely fair. I am personally under the idea that, like, you cannot change how it is. You can only change how you are. And I don't know if that comes across the way that I want it to come across, but it's like, I just don't think I think one person can make an impact. But
Yeah.
I don't think that like you're changing things. I think you're like almost more so putting yourself in danger by like sticking your neck out like that. And I don't want to say that like I'm a sheep or like I don't stand up for things, but I've just like I've seen so many people do so many things and nothing ever happens and it just like it feels like there's something out there that's just like knocking them down and maybe it's one of those things where you got to spend your whole life dedicated to this topic to finally figure it out. But yeah, I think I something like that, like maybe local success is something that is is all you can get out of it, which is a
Yeah,
big
but
win because if
I
everybody's
think
doing it in
so.
their community.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I think, like you mentioned, if one person tries to create an impact, it doesn't really make a difference. But I think it does because every single individual that and it's not something that happens overnight. You have to be persistent. So you can't just give up. Like if you're trying to do something and it's not working, and you have to start from, like you mentioned, within your community. I mean, you have to start from, like very, very small steps. And then one step leads to the next, and then who knows? I mean, like, I know that I use my platforms because I have two shows, and it's very, very focused that I want to make a difference, and with now boarding, create an impact, and then every conversation matters, and if even one person has been able to pick up from any one conversation and has tried to incorporate whatever it is, a solution within their realm, then I think I have made a difference. And I
Hmm.
think it's like, every single individual who makes an effort counts. And that's the way I look at it. And yeah, so I know. I mean, it's like such a there are what almost 8 billion people on this planet, and there are so many different cultures, communities. So I mean, it's such a large planet, but you have to focus on your little space and sphere and try and make a difference there. So, I mean, that's the way I look at it, anyways.
Yeah, like you're actually talking to the people that are the people in their community that are doing the thing that's good.
Correct. Correct.
And
Yeah.
like I don't necessarily have the access to that. I only have people in my community. So I can totally understand the way that you say that because even like people meeting new people, like I was at a book signing and this kid came through and he was like in grade two, I think. And his mom was like, "Oh, he likes the cover or whatever." And I was like, "Oh, honestly, like there's a lot of swear words and like, you know, I don't think it's for him." And she's like, "Ah, I don't really care. He's gonna learn it anyway." And I was like, "Okay, then go ahead." but like I don't want to be the one that taught him all these words.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, hey, I'm Michael. And like, oh, I've read this book. And like, have you ever read this book? And like, oh my God. And it's like, yeah, he won at the science fair. He like made this project that like recycles water. And I was like, this kid's smarter than I am.
In
And so
grade
like,
two,
I
in
like,
grade two.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like I see it. Like I only see the kids running down the street, like throwing eggs at cars. I don't see the kids at the library, like researching to be the next like robot genius person that's gonna like save the world. So like I was like, you know what? There is hope.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. There is hope. And I think we have to keep believing. And that's the
Yeah.
most important thing. Okay, so let me ask you, let's move away a little bit. What's the one conversation in the shop that started a small talk, but it actually turned into real problem solving? Because there are so many conversations, right? So,
For a lot of what the the shop talk is like more so entertainment value. I
okay.
know that I said like every once in a while I'll talk and I'll find out something about someone that I've known for so long. But I think like for me the most enjoyable part is like seeing people sort of on the fly just genuinely making up things that are good ideas or like funny jokes or like really seeing how they perform in the moment. And there's a few times where I'm talking to them and like I'm kind of just laughing and you know you feel like that vibration in your ear or whatever. You can't hear everything. And I look back on the video and I'm cutting it up and I'm like, "Oh my God, I didn't even hear him say that." And then I'm like, I have so many like I could have asked a question about that or like that was like a genuinely like one of the funniest parts of our conversation. And I'll be like, "Damn it." And I'll text him. I'll be like, "Oh, dude, I literally didn't even hear you say that because I was laughing. I couldn't hear you." Um, but I think the, I guess to answer the question there, like a lot of times the conversations come after I post and like I'll get a comment or I'll get a friend being like, "Hey man, I saw the thing," or like, "I saw one of your clips," or like, you know, just like it's more external after than it is internally during, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Which is also, I know you're saying that it's more entertainment, but the fact that people are picking up something, which is why they're commenting and reaching back to you to say that, oh, that was interesting or whatever it may be. So you do have a reach and you are able to connect with people, which is good. I, I
Hmm.
wanted to ask you if your grandfather could join one episode today, what question would you want to ask him?
That is an amazing question. Um, I don't even know. It's funny, I never
Think.
really even knew him. He passed away. I was so young. And I like obviously I always think about that and I'm like, huh, what's he like? Hey mom, what's he like? And he's like, oh, you would have loved him. Oh, you would have loved him. He would have taken you camping and la la la. La. So I don't know. What's one question I would ask him? Maybe I'd ask him like, what would what would he have done differently? Just to like get that sort of perspective from him. And because, you know, he immigrated here from Italy when he was like 11 or something and started a family and this and that. And I'm sure, you know, it seems like he made the right decision. Like we have a family and barbershop's still going and this and that. But I just didn't really know him. So I would love to ask him, like, what would you have done if you weren't a barber, maybe? Or like, what would you have done if you never left Italy? And yeah, that's a tough question.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, yeah, if he, and I'm sure he would, that generation, they always had so many. real interesting things to talk about, which because
Hmm.
there were no like today we have so many how shall I say this? We have so many alternatives and we're so distracted because of technology and because of the direction in which the world is going and the people and the knowledge and the information and all of that. I think there is so much uh, but for your grandfather's generation growing up, it was so simple and
Hmm.
so real. There was nothing artificial about their existence. So I think he would have definitely been extremely like I don't know. His ideas I feel would have been completely different from the way it's happening
Much more
now.
analog than what we have.
Much more analog, correct. But I
I
think he would be proud of the fact that you decided to add on products to the barber shop and
mhm.
products that helped the environment and products that were natural and the fact that you ensured that you kept the pricing at on par with everything else. I think he would have been proud of that and how you've and also that your family stuck to the tradition of what he started and helped evolve it, help grow it, like you mentioned that I'm sure when your grandfather started the barber shop, it would not have been in a mall, right?
So like we got really lucky because in that area, nobody could have imagined like the way property value rised and like the demand for property. But it used to be called Richmond Six, and it was like a box with like six doors or something. And then it became Richmond Center, which is now like it's like one of the busiest premier malls in the lower mainland. And it's like the barber shop is right beside the door. And like from
So
1966 to
so the
now,
position of the barber shop did not change. The
uh,
location
I think it moved slightly forward.
slightly, right?
Yeah, they've like done some renovations, but I don't think anybody could have imagined that Richmond Six would have became like I don't know, maybe like for example, like Beverly Hills Mall or something. Like, it's that level of like size, luxury. They're even like building it up now. They're building like towers of apartments. There's going to be like another 5,000 people that live there. And yeah. And like a lot of the times, that barber shop, like from COVID, for example, kind of like bailed us out a little bit because we had it.
Yeah.
And it's just always been a constant. And like it's taking care of my grandma, like it's giving money to like his daughters and like it's amazing that this one thing that he did was like, I got you for the rest of your life. And
Yeah.
it kind of lucky, but I guess he was smart to, acquire something as opposed to just work for someone.
Correct. And at such a young age as well. I mean, not at 11, but obviously at a young age, he must have
Yeah.
made that decision. No, that's incredible. Thank you so much, Dominic. I really enjoyed this. It's gone off on a different tangent, but it's still been a fun conversation. And
Yeah, I tend to do that. I'm sorry.
no, no, you're fine. I mean, it's been interesting. So just a fun question to actually end this conversation. If your life was a haircut, would it be a clean fade, a messy crop, or something totally wild? This is like a crazy question, okay? I just thought about it.
It, it would probably be like, oh, I don't even know. It would be like, here's how the haircut would go. Hello, sir. please give me one haircut and make it nice. And then the haircut would be like patchy. This would be long. This would be short. There'd be no hair on the back of my head. And I'd be like, I really thought this would end in a better way. Like it's like I still got the hair. Hey, it's gonna grow back. I'll just get make it better next time. But I really thought this was gonna be a better haircut.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Thank you so much again, Dominic. And of course, we know that your book is available online on Amazon and other platforms. You are going to publish another sequel, and then you've got an idea for another book. And your products are only at the moment available locally. So we hope that that changes in the near future.
Hmm.
And if people want to tune in or listen in to your podcast, how do they do that?
You just go right on the Instagram. I just post reels, and
But what's the
I just
handle? What's the handle? Shop
oh,
Talk?
sorry, it's a CCHI Essentials, and then I just
Ah,
put it directly on the thing, and it just
okay.
hashtag shop talk.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Okay,
You know,
super. Because I was trying to look for,
simple.
yeah, I was trying to look for Shop Talk actually, and I couldn't. I mean, there
Yeah,
was so much that came up, and I said, okay, this makes no sense. So I'll just ask you when I'm talking to you.
I think there's a
Um,
lot of podcasts called shop talk.
yeah, correct. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways, thank you once again. And I know you're on vacation, so enjoy the rest of your time. And yeah. And it was really nice talking to you. So thank you again.